Some reports published on Sunday are stating that Spurs have already spoken to Thomas Frank of Brentford about lining him up to be the next Spurs boss to replace Postecoglou. Some reports are stating that Spurs have already sacked the Australian boss. The Sun newspaper has stated that Spurs chairman Daniel Levy is still weighing up whether to axe Postecoglou or keep him on. The Sun have also stated it is more likely a change in the dugout is made, with a decision expected this coming week, but it is not a foregone conclusion yet. The Times newspaper has stated that Spurs remain interested in Everton star Jarrad Branthwaite. Tottenham still remain interested in AC Milan defender Fikayo Tomori, and Tottenham are still interested in Crystal Palace star Mark Gay, but the England international is not interested in a move to Spurs. Hi everyone, hope you're well. My name is Chris Cowlin and this is another episode of Tottenham News, where I began for all of the latest Spurs news, rumours and reports. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do hit the follow button and leave a review if you can. Now let's start by talking about Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou, who is currently on holiday. On Sunday morning, a report was published by the Football Insider stating that the Spurs boss is just about to be sacked by chairman Daniel Levy. Now, further on from that, on Sunday, the Sun newspaper have reported that Tottenham are speaking to other managers about replacing Ange Postecoglou, but the Europa League winning Australian remains in the dark if the North Londoners will actually sack him or not. Spurs chairman Daniel Levy is still weighing up whether to axe Postecoglou or keep him on at the club. It is more likely a change in the dugout is made, with a decision expected this coming week, but it is not a foregone conclusion yet. The representative of a number of possible successors are believed to have been contacted in the meantime. Brentford boss Thomas Frank and Fulham chief Marco Silva are among those Spurs are considering, while there has been interest in Champions League runner-up Simone Inzaghi of Inter Milan. Postecoglou has been made to wait on his future as he and a number of his Spurs staff went on holiday last week. Football.London have also reported on this story, and they have stated the Spurs board are still weighing up the future of Ange Postecoglou, and there are fears that there could be a dressing room backlash if the Australian is sacked by Tottenham. Reports in Italy are stating that Spurs have had direct talks with Brentford boss Thomas Frank this week, and they have discussed the project at Spurs and the upcoming summer transfer window. Reports in Argentina are stating that if Spurs sack Ange Postecoglou, then defender Christian Romero will want out of the club. If Postecoglou stays, then the Argentinian defender will stay at the club for Ange's third season. Now, reports in Italy and from the Times newspaper are stating that Tottenham are still interested in AC Milan defender Fikayo Tomori. Of course, Spurs have been heavily linked with him in the last couple of transfer windows. The Times have also stated that Tottenham remain interested in Everton centre-back Jarrad Branthwaite. The Times have also stated that Spurs remain interested in Crystal Palace and England defender Mark Gay, but the England international is not interested in a move to Spurs. This is a player that Spurs placed a bid for back in the January window. Various other reports have just been published about Ange Postecoglou and his future at Spurs. The Independent and the Scotsman have both reported that ex-Celtic title-winning boss Postecoglou is set to be sacked from his role as Tottenham Hotspur boss just 11 days on from helping the club win their first trophy in 17 years. Reports in Italy and from the Daily Mail have both stated that Tottenham make direct contact with Premier League manager as Postecoglou waits to learn his fate. Tottenham have reportedly made contact with Brentford boss Thomas Frank. The Star have reported that Postecoglou to learn sack fate next week, with Tottenham boss at extreme risk. And just a reminder, of the report from the Football Insider from Sunday morning. Tottenham Hotspur have decided to sack Ange Postecoglou. Spurs' formal stance is that no final decision has yet been made, as Chairman Daniel Levy has been out of the country in recent weeks, and Spurs have 3 managers on their shortlist. If Postecoglou is sacked, Thomas Frank, Marco Silva and Andoni Iraola. On Sunday evening, Italian journalist and transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has spoken out about Ange Postecoglou and his future at Spurs. He has stated that Spurs chairman Daniel Levy set to decide Postecoglou's future in the next couple of days. The situation is open. Thomas Frank and Marco Silva are both appreciated, discussed internally as options for Spurs' job if Ange does get fired, but no final decision on Postecoglou yet. TalkSport have just stated that Inter Milan boss Simone Inzaghi has held talks with both Spurs and Newcastle. Sunday Telegraph have reported that Ange Postecoglou's future as Tottenham boss is set to be decided next week, with the 59-year-old Australian's position under extreme risk despite winning the Europa League. The newspaper have stated that Crystal Palace would like Eze to sign a new contract with them despite interest from fellow Premier League clubs Spurs, Manchester City and Arsenal. And Sky Italy have stated that Fulham boss Marco Silva, also a target for Spurs, is the leading candidate to become the new head coach of Italian side Juventus. Now, my thoughts on everything in this episode, and I'm going to start by talking about Ange Postecoglou. I'm recording this video gone midnight on now early hours of Monday morning. Now, all of Sunday, so many reports out. Sunday morning, the Football Insider, it all kicked off. Football Insider put a report out, and it actually states the words, Tottenham Hotspur have decided to sack Ange Postecoglou. Sources have told Football Insider. Now, this is not true. This is not true at all, and I'm so glad that the likes of the Sun newspaper, Football.London and Fabrizio Romano have put this report in particular to bed to say a decision has not been made on Ange Postecoglou's future. Whether it will be, done down the line, fair enough, but a decision has not been made yet by Daniel Levy, board members, and anyone connected to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Everyone is away. Ange Postecoglou is on holiday. Daniel Levy is out of the country as well. And I feel like, and I called this out on a previous episode as well, I feel like this is really bad reporting. This is clickbait nonsense, in my opinion, because Ange Postecoglou is very much still the Spurs manager. He has a 4-year contract. Yes, I have no doubt at all that Daniel Levy and the board will probably discuss Ange Postecoglou's future, and rightly so. 22 league defeats is simply not good enough. Yes, we won the Europa League, but there definitely needs to be a discussion with Ange Postecoglou and board members, Daniel Levy and co, for them to ask the direct questions of, what are you going to do in terms of our league position to improve our league position, our league performances, our league results? I think that is a very genuine question. Now, I have just come off a fan show where 74% of fans who voted, and there were a lot of votes, by the way, 74% want to keep Ange Postecoglou at Spurs. The other 26%, I asked during a 4-hour fan show, if you don't want Ange Postecoglou at the club, then what is the answer? A lot of people didn't actually want Thomas Frank or Marco Silva. Then what? These are the names that are in the frame for this job. If you are a Spurs fan right now, let me know. And if you don't want Ange Postecoglou as the Spurs manager, what is the answer? What is the option? A couple of other names during that stream that people threw at me was Oliver Glasner, De Zerbi, Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola. People even joked and said Gary Megson and Sam Allardyce. Well, I hope they were jokes anyway. But, what is the alternative? And plus, I feel like Ange Postecoglou needs time, needs patience, needs tools. And I feel like if Ange Postecoglou is at Spurs for a 3rd season, it is a massive summer for the football club. It is a massive time for Daniel Levy and the board to back the manager. Regardless of who is the manager anyway, whether it's Ange or whether it's someone else, we still need to have a huge transfer window. We've got Champions League football next season. So there is a lot to do. But as I said, I'm so glad the likes of Football.London, the Sun newspaper, because the Sun summed it up perfectly. Tom Barkley of the Sun, he actually come out and said that Spurs chairman Daniel Levy is still weighing up whether to axe Postecoglou or keep him. That is my understanding as well. That's exactly what I said throughout the whole of Sunday. Tom Barkley also then went on to say it is more likely a change in the dugout is made with a decision expected this week, but it is not a foregone conclusion yet. Now, Fabrizio Romano pretty much said the same thing. I've no doubt the Spurs are thinking about a decision, whether they feel like Ange Postecoglou can take us forward. Can we win another trophy under Ange Postecoglou next season? Because the feeling has been so good in the last 10, 11 days or so. We want to be feeling like that all the time. And, will the Spurs hierarchy, will they be confident with Ange Postecoglou in, the Champions League next season? And let's face it, Marco Silva and Thomas Frank, what experience do they have in Champions League football? So I fully back Ange, and I'd like to see him in the dugout for a third season. I definitely think that he deserves that opportunity. And, he's been through so much in the last couple of years. And as I keep saying, and as I keep repeating myself, if you'd said at the very start of his time at Spurs, in the first season he's going to lose Harry Kane, finish fifth in the Premier League, we're going to play some decent entertaining football, but we're going to go through some hard times as well in that first season. You'd say, okay, fair enough. A lot of people expected us to be finishing mid-table. In the second season, if I'd have said to you, he's going to win us a European trophy, I think everyone would have gone, wow, really? A manager's going to come in after losing Harry Kane as well, and then he's going to win us a European trophy in his second season. Wow, I'll take that. Yeah, none of us want the 22 league defeats. None of us. And it was hard to take. I went to all of them, home and away, went to all 22 defeats. They were all hard to take. But is a rebuild, is it easy? Is it going to be just fixed just like that? No, it's not. It's going to take time. And he prioritised the Europa League this season in order for us to have that successful moment. And he is now rubbing shoulders with the likes of Bill Nicholson and Keith Birkinshaw. They remain the only three managers to have delivered European success at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club in our history. I think that deserves a third season, if I'm completely honest. And I feel like the focus now is going to be on the board backing Ange Postecoglou in the transfer window and giving the players that he absolutely needs. Because let's face it, when you play Champions League football, it's very different to the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. Very, very different. And, when you've got to be, fighting on all fronts, on all, in all four competitions, Premier League, Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, you virtually need two teams. We haven't got that at Spurs. We haven't got virtually two teams, a huge squad that a lot of the other teams have, Manchester City, Liverpool, and so on, Arsenal even. They have pretty much two key players for each position, and that is exactly what Spurs need to do in getting in real quality. Ange Postecoglou has said, he has underlined exactly what Spurs need to do in the future. Ange has also said that, at some point Spurs need to stick to something, and I completely agree. We cannot keep sacking, hiring and firing managers every 18 months, particularly after someone has delivered us European success. And I go back again to that fans poll, 74% of Spurs fans want to keep, the ones who watched and listened to our fan show, 74% want to keep Ange Postecoglou. And I'm in that 74% as well. And if you are still in that 26%, please do let me know, what is next for Spurs. I don't disagree with you. I will listen to your opinion and I will listen to your take. Because I'm always interested to, get anyone's opinions, especially on the channel. And if you'd like to appear on a future fan show to give your opinion and talk about this exact subject, please do send me an email. It's tottenhamfanchris@gmail.com. But there are so many reports coming out. There have been a lot of copy and pasting without any substance at all, which has pretty much annoyed me today or on Sunday because, whatever happened to, three sources, getting your source, getting your information, then double checking, treble checking, to actually put out a report stating that Tottenham Hotspur have decided to sack Ange Postecoglou, I just think that is really poor reporting and really poor journalism. So I'm glad the likes of Fabrizio Romano, Football.London and the Sun newspaper have put that right. A very interesting one from TalkSport stating that Inter Milan boss Simone Inzaghi has held talks with Spurs and Newcastle. Interestingly, and I don't even think I've spoken about this on the channel, last season Fabio Paratici and Simone Inzaghi, I saw both of them while I was recording a podcast after a game. They were both getting into a lift. But I also saw Allegri there after a Spurs game as well. But of course, he's now the new manager of AC Milan, so it doesn't always mean something. A lot of interesting and famous people visit our stadium and watch our matches. Eze is a player that I'd love to see Spurs sign and go big in this transfer window. All it's going to take is £68 million to get that deal done, but I'd love to see it happen. And it's funny as well because people talk about Marco Silva and Thomas Frank. We've also seen reports or heard reports today that I've gone through in this episode talking about Spurs have apparently been talking to Thomas Frank, and Spurs are apparently interested in Marco Silva, but Sky Italy are stating that they are big admirers of Marco Silva at Juventus, so he could be going there. It's going to be a very, very interesting summer. But as I've said, Ange Postecoglou is on holiday. Daniel Levy is away at the moment. Nothing has been decided. So a lot of these reports, especially in this episode and especially on Sunday, is all rumours. It is all just speculation. There is no truth in this at all because no decision has been made as yet.
Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, like, share and comment below. And if you listen to this on an audio platform, please do the follow button and leave a review if you can. Have a great week. I'll see you on the next one. Come on, you Spurs.